I would always encourage others to start building their personal brand first because it's very powerful. People like to know the person behind the company rather than the company. We can showcase the company logo lah, colors lah, font lah, and all this mantra that you have, but people don't connect with them well these days, and especially among the younger generation also, they like to see a person that they can relate to. So when you start focusing on your personal brand, people get to know you better. People start to be curious of what you have and want to work alongside with you, and it will carry on. It's like if you play Dota and stuff like that, it's like you're a strong character, right? You carry your members behind, right? That kind of stuff. So you will carry your company, and people will start knowing what brand are you without even you telling them what brand or company that you work for. That's how powerful personal brand is.
Welcome to the iSearch podcast. Today we have Eric Siew, the founder of Choobub Creatives, on the show. Today I'll be discussing with Eric on the content marketing strategies and tips for SMEs to increase brand awareness. So welcome to the show, Eric.
Hey, Benjamin. Thanks for having me.
Alright, so before we begin with the content marketing strategies, you had an interesting career change in your 30s, going from being a doctor to starting a marketing agency. So what made you pursue this path?
Very interesting question, Benjamin. More like close to 40 already when I made the transition, which was a little bit scary because, especially when you have family and you have kids ready, right? Then you tend to be a little bit cautious on the side when you transition. Technically, your rice bowl is just throwing it away and starting something from afresh. But the reason why I made the transition wasn't immediate, but it was a ongoing transition. Whereby in my career, I started asking the senior doctors who are already specialists and they are consultants, right? I said, what is the one thing that you regret, since that you are already there, you have the position, you have a lot of money, big cars, big houses. What's the one thing that you regret in life? And out of 10, maybe about 8 of them would say the same regret, which is, I regret not seeing my kids growing up. I regret not being there for my family. And now that I want to be with them, they're already in their 60s and all, they have no time for me. So when I listen to these consultants, when they say their regrets and their remorse, right, then I realize if give me 20 years down the line when I'm there, I wouldn't want to be saying the same exact regrets as them. Regardless of whether how much money we earn in 20 years down the line, because our priorities are different, our pillars are different. So I prioritize my time with my family, my kids. I want to see them growing up. That is the reason why I moved from medicine into marketing, or at least to running a business.
Wow, okay. So what made you choose marketing? Because out of so many different fields.
Right. This is also a very interesting question because during medicine, I backside itchy lah. So when backside itchy, I also started a business. But before this marketing business, I was doing a baby business. So I was running more of mid to high-end baby products. I was selling them. I was working with distributors. I have a warehouse. They will actually send the packages out. They will receive from the distributors. So during that process, while I was working on that business, I met another owner who was also running a baby business, and her forte was also marketing. Now, somehow along the way, we tag team together to create content for the baby business side, and I got to know her as a person, and I realized that our values kind of jive with one another. So over the years, right, that baby business, it was okay, but I decided not to carry on with it, and my partner also, now she's my business partner but then she also decided not to carry on with her business, and somehow we tagged team together. Then we were asking each other hey, what can we do together? Because my forte, or at least I enjoy doing websites So despite being in medicine, I like all this artsy-fartsy stuff. I do graphics, I do web designing, I do video editing, I take photos and stuff like that. I said, here I can do websites, since website is a one-time off thing. You do the project, You get the project done, then that's it, done deal. They have to go and look for another new client, right? But we didn't want it to stop there. I said, can we actually find a way where we finish one client, right? Then we ask them, what do you want to do with your website? Then my partner will come in. Then there's a continuity of things. Then there comes the marketing portion of things. Rent, marketing materials, collaterals, more things that we can do. That means that we already have the trust from the client. Why don't we continue on the trust rather than going out there seeking another more client? Closing clients is not an easy thing, right? It takes time, right? So why, when we can actually, to build that trust takes a lot of time. So why not, existing clients already, why don't you carry on working with them? Because they already like what you do already. So that's how I got into marketing, partly because my business partner, her forte was in marketing.
Okay. I would assume that you're earning like a good living as well, being like in your late 30s and being a doctor. Yeah. So how did you convince or talk with your family to jump out to this totally different field?
I was in Singapore. I was working in Singapore. So to move out from Singapore and to encourage, me and my wife were working as doctors in Singapore as well. That time pay was good because come back to Malaysia, don't have to worry because SGD to ringgit that time already 3 to 1 already. Like you go and buy, you really don't have to bother so much. But ever since coming back, and when we had kids, we decided to come back. One is we lost the conversion rate. Technically, divide by 3, gone already . Then after that, my wife also decided to take care of the kids full time. So I have 2 kids. So divide by 3 and divide by 2. That time, I think I almost suffocated or drowned. the loan itself, because that time when we were in Singapore, we had properties and we were servicing them. I mean, we were quite comfortable servicing them. But when I came back, right, whatever that I have, right, is to go out to service loan. I have nothing left. And to run the business with nothingness, that was a big stress. You see that there's no business coming in, there's no cash flow coming in, and some more you're living off that small amount of money left, whatever you have, right? It's a big challenge, that one.
Wow, I mean, you are really a true entrepreneur. You are meant to go through this path. So I mean, starting a business, especially a new business, is always difficult. So what are your challenges initially, and what is the mindset shift that you need to go from employee to entrepreneur?
The number one thing, my biggest hurdle, right, or at least at that point of time, was finding people who knows things that I don't know. Meaning I started off alone because I was just doing website and stuff like that, right? Then I realized I also don't know business. I also don't know a lot of things. Who's going to teach me this kind of stuff? And as doctors, as much I hate to admit it, right? Majority of doctors got quite a big ego in them to reach out to others to ask for help and seek advice. So we tend to keep everything to ourselves. And I realized that is also one of our downfalls if we don't go out there and ask for help and ask for advice. So for me, the biggest struggle initially was I was just ramming the wall, don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I thought I was doing the right thing, but it's not the right thing. But when I got to know my business partners, so my first goal was to find someone who can complement me in the things that I don't have. Say, for example, marketing, business strategies. And so happened, my business partner, she was with earlier she was with telcos like Celcom. Then after that she was with Post Laju. So she was in corporate for a while to know how business runs, and she was spearheading the marketing team. So she kind of like Sifu like that like my mentor as well, to guide me through the stages to build up the company. So that was something I found very useful because without that, right, technically it's just running in the dark.
Is this the same business partner that both of you start the baby business together?
Yes. The baby business, she was running her own baby business. I was running my own baby business. But we met together to do content together. So kind of like a collab like that. So after that, when that part disbanded, right, then we started this company together and we tag team together to work things out.
Right. So if someone wish to like start a business, you would encourage them to like find a business partner so that they don't be like alone in this tough field.
That is, although this was my path lah, and I also know that people are actually actively looking for co-founders and stuff like that. But I think also let the right person come into the picture. So happened the right time, the right moment. My business partner Selena, she came into the picture and I saw the opportunity there. But doesn't mean that everybody has to go through the same pathway, because sometimes if you actively go and search for it, right, it becomes like a commitment and it becomes like a pressure to look for one. So if you can still do it things by yourself, it's okay. But when the right time, when there's a partner that syncs with your values and what you believe in and your vision, right, then you join them on board lah and work alongside together lah. I think that's important. And of course, when you have a co-founder, like what you mentioned, right, is no longer a lonely journey because a lot of entrepreneurs out there, it's quite lonely one. You don't have anybody to talk to. You do go through things yourself. Sometimes you wonder, am I doing this the right thing or the wrong thing? Nobody to banter with you and keep you in check.
There's always voice coming into your
head,
like
self-doubt voice telling you like, hey, you doing this right or not? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So from Singapore, you came back to Malaysia to start this marketing agency, Choobub. How long did it take for you to get your first client?
I started in 2016. And that time I was under sole prop, and I was solely focusing on just doing web designs, project after project, because I was working full-time in the university side of things. I was lecturing medical students when I came back from Singapore. So during lecture in uni, I had the flexibility of time to, between classes, sometimes there are not many classes, so in between free time, I can go out and meet people and, to design website and stuff like that. So I was doing this regularly until COVID started, 2020. So when 2020 started, that was the time I incorporated the company into Sendirian Berhad lah. People think I crazy, but it was born out of COVID. And that was when everybody was stuck at home, right? So when everybody was stuck at home, I chiong on LinkedIn. So I wrote stories because I enjoy writing. So I wrote stories almost every other day on LinkedIn. Until today, I still write every day on LinkedIn. So that is how I built a brand, or at least a personal brand for myself. And since then, the leads wasn't coming very fast then because not many people know me then. So from 2020, I wrote for 1 to 2 years. And only from 2022 onwards, people start reaching out. Hey, Eric, can you do this? Can you I saw that you know how to do this. Would it be okay we jump on the call and speak about this? So leads started coming in month after month without using any ads lah. These are all organic process lah, because they have been reading my stories for the past 1 to 2 years, right? So that's how until today that's how I get my, or at least business coming in lah. Never use ads, purely on content, and until today, month after month, still got people reach out to have ask whether we can actually do certain stuff for them.
Wow, so 2016 you started, and 2022 only maybe the number 6 year of operation, only you start to see hey, okay, finally business is starting to boom. But
yeah.
Right.
But at that time 2016 to 2020 more like testing like that, don't know whether can work, cannot work, because I wasn't full-hearted into it. I was still doing full-time. But
lecture.
From 2020, lecture and stuff like that, so I have revenue coming in. And I realized this revenue, although it gives us a safety net, right, it doesn't give us the drive to go out there and chiong. Because okay if nothing happens, I still can go back to my work. I still got my income coming in. It was the time when I throw away my job. I said, okay, heck it. I'm going to do this full-time, right? That is when you go overdrive mode because you don't buck up, you got no rice on the table. That is when you really go and chiong. You got a family to feed. That is when you really go out there and do it.
Wow. I mean, amazing hearing your stories. I mean, you can write a book on your life story. Okay. So moving on to the content marketing strategies. So what are three marketing strategies for an SME to stand out and also build their branding online?
Right. I always share with this a lot of owners out there compared to the olden days where you can still hide behind a brand. No? Today it's very difficult, especially when you're new and nobody knows about you. Let's not talk about like Amazon, Coca-Cola. They have made it, or Nike, all these have made it. But what if you're a new business, you're just going out there? Nobody knows you. You put out a brand, but you don't want to show face. It's going to be very difficult for people to relate. I think that's the challenge. So for SMEs, especially when you are a solopreneur or your team is small, right? Like it or not, right? Somebody from the team or yourself as the business owner, you have to come forward and tell your stories, because that is when people who can resonate or relate to what you have to share, right? They will actually come out and work alongside with you. I give you an example. I wrote a story about school, about my kid going to school, going to government school like that, and that post went viral on Facebook. The funny thing is I never talk about my business. I never talk about what I do as well. I never talk about marketing as well. But surprisingly, right, people reach out to me, say, hey, Eric, I know that you run a marketing agency, because they actually have the effort, put in the effort to go and search for who am I, chari me until on my website, on my LinkedIn page, and dig through my information and know that I run a marketing agency. And through that itself, right, also managed to secure clients, because I asked some of them, why do you look out for me? I said, I don't know, but I read your story. You're a parent. I'm a parent. You got kids thinking where to send to school next. I also got kids thinking where to school. That's why I reached out to you, because same frequency. So I wasn't selling anything, but people actually reach out because we have the same background, we have the same stories, and we share the same struggles. And that's how I got clients from there. So for SMEs, I think first thing is you got to put content out there. And it's not just any other content. The first one is, of course, being out there. Second thing is not any content, but content 50% a little bit about yourself, and 50% of what is your forte and your skill set is. What do you have to provide to solve the other people's problems? You need to put this out. Just by selling alone, it's not going to work also. You give content after content just to sell something, right? People won't buy it because people cannot relate to you. And third, I've been doing this for so many years already, since 2020, always writing, right? I think some things that people find difficult to do is being consistent. It's not about whether the post goes viral or not. It's just about every day you're just there. Every day people see you. There is some form of level of familiarity that people see. We open up the app, they see your face. I can be quite annoying because every day you see my face, right? But of course, you don't just pump your face out there. You have to provide some certain of value why they want to digest your stories, right? So doing all these three things, putting ourselves out there, then after that, create content, something with yourself and a little bit of what you have to provide, and that consistency itself makes a big difference for those SMEs who are trying to go out there and build their business.
So I think one of the hurdle for most people, like when building a personal brand, is the word shy. I'm very shy to do video content. What if people see my face, and what if I say the wrong thing? All those things. What would you say to these people?
When you're in the 20s, when you're 30s, okay you worry about how you look like. You worry about how your face is. You worry about your voice not sexy enough over the microphone. Who wants to see that kind of stuff. But when you put yourself until the point, right, you got no more money, or you're running dry, right? When shit hits the fan, you just need to do something, right? These things are all irrelevant anymore. It's like you got people just go ahead I mean, at the end of the day, look at my face. It's not entirely the most handsome face ever at all. So there's pimples all over, But at the end of the day, people value your thought process, People value what you have to provide to them, not how you look like, But of course, I know if you're blessed with good looks and you're blessed that you look nice with certain assets, right, that you can use it to your advantage also. No wrong, because I do know some people who does that. But for those like me who doesn't have, then we have to figure out creative ways to do it by providing value. Face after doing this so many years, I realized people don't look at the face one. People really enjoy the value that you provide and they can resonate with you. It's just our inner self telling that my face is not good enough. But truth is, nobody actually look at those kind of things one.
And also, I think that nowadays, because I think video might be a challenge. Let's say if they say that I don't want to film video, but then now you can actually write your post on LinkedIn, on Facebook, without even showing your you on video.
Yeah. So writing itself is an outlet for me lah. So I would encourage people who don't want to show face, at least write lah.
Okay, so how can they get started with like writing? For example, like which platform should they get started? What type of content should they put out?
Okay. Writing, of all the platform I know, it works very well on LinkedIn lah. And I may be biased because I'm LinkedIn all the time. But recently I went into the Facebook entrepreneur group, which I shared with you earlier, right, Benjamin? People there also read what? It's not like they don't read, they read also. That's how you also connected with me, because you read the stories that I wrote there. So people actually do write as long as the story is enticing enough. But of course, don't write on platforms that use videos that showcase like TikTok lah, IG lah. Those definitely people are not there to go and read lah. But on platforms that people enjoy reading, then you can start with those, either LinkedIn or Facebook lah. I think it's a good platform to start lah. And to what to write, that can be quite tricky as well. People ask, my life is not so interesting, what can I write? Every day I just do the same old stuff only ma. But truth is, all of us have a story to share. Sometimes we all go through struggles, right? While I'm not asking everybody to open up their closet and show the skeleton inside, but I would say that at least everybody would have some fair share of struggles they go through in life, that if they are willing to share and how they overcome this problem, right? People are willing to read, because people are really tired of reading. Oh, I got this award lah. I am, winning this category of things lah. I earn so much money lah. No, people are sick of this kind of stuff already. But if you share struggles, right, and how you go through it, I can tell you can get a lot of traction, because we all go through similar struggles.
And I mean, the best of all of this marketing strategy is that it is free, so you don't have to pay like a single cent.
Yes,
so
correct.
That brings us to, what are your thoughts on creating organic content versus running ads? Because running ads, you can get immediate feedback, whereas like content marketing, like what you say, you need to write every day until you hit a certain point where people remember you, and then only they inquire.
I would encourage both, because both also is useful. Now, content marketing, it's an ongoing process, and it takes time to build up. Sometimes 6 months, sometimes up to a year. Sometimes, if really your product or service is very niche, right, up to 2 years or so, it may happen. But these are planting seeds for the future, meaning that you are actually putting seeds out there, watering, and hopefully, by hook or by crook, when people start to realize your authority in a certain domain, or you have a thought leadership in a specific sphere, then people will reach out to you. But building trust takes time, right, compared to using ads. Ads can be done because it pushes the content straight away to your customer's face. But then again, what it lacks is that trust lah. So if you are actually in the service line, and that requires you to, like say for example, accountants, lawyers, doctors, you cannot shove your service up to the person's face, say, hey, use me, that kind of stuff, because they also don't know you. But if you are actually in the industry of like selling boba lah, or selling watches lah, and these are the products that is visible to the audience face, and you just want to push it out immediately, right? I think ads also do well. And you can also use it to run campaigns very fast within a time of like 7 weeks to 14 days, right? 1 week to 14 days, right? Like technically 1 to 2 weeks, to run a specific campaign to generate a lot of awareness, right? You can use ads also, because content generation cannot, or organic way cannot give you that kind of response. So when you pair it together, right, then I think it's a very powerful tool to move it in the marketing side of things.
What are your thoughts? Like for example, like ads, right? People run ads, is always like promo. We got the 50% promo, buy now, pay now, those type of thing, right? What do you think if you write like a organic type of content means like a story kind of content, but you boost it as a ads without asking for anything in return, just so that you can reach more people. How effective is this?
Very, very. Because we have done it a couple of times. If your momentum on your content, that means, say for example, you have built your content, or you have built your brand, your personal brand for the past 1 year, and you use ads, right? People already recognize you already. And people are already ready to buy from you already. Imagine, for me, currently I have a community where I actually ask people to come, right? When I open up and I open up tickets for people to buy, people willingly buy and come because they already trust, there will be good work delivered and there will be a good event turnout and people will learn something from the event. And that is also because I've been present for quite some time already. And imagine if I add on ads, right, to this and boost it out to even further people, right, the outcome would be also 2 to 3 times more. It's just that, a lot of people tend to go the other route instead without building the authority, without building the trust. They straight away use ads, right? Then, of course, sometimes a bit lackluster because you put your face there, so you post it out, nobody know who you are, so very difficult because at the end of the day, even when we want to go, we go and cut our hair, we go and buy something, we always go back because we enjoy that person who is servicing us, not so much for the product per se.
Right. Okay. Like LinkedIn is like a B2B platform where, let's say if you write and your target market is like entrepreneurs or business owners, then you will get a lot from there. But what if I am a B2C kind of business? Let's say I'm a dentist, or I run a hair salon. Should I write on LinkedIn as well, or should I change my strategy?
See, although people think LinkedIn is B2B, right? But LinkedIn is also B2C. People on LinkedIn no need to cut hair, meh? Also need to cut hair, apart from looking for job per se lah. People on LinkedIn no need to eat, meh? They also need to eat because they are also human beings there. It's just different form of platform. You just have to shape it in the way that it fits LinkedIn's algorithm and to fit the LinkedIn what they are looking for. Doesn't mean that it's a different platform, you cannot use it to share certain things. So B2C actually works very well on LinkedIn as well. Of course, majority of the buyers, even at FB, IG, is just different range of people that you are targeting. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with Khoo Sim Ling or Auntie HR, right? She's the one in LinkedIn who is very famous for her HR thing. She told me this. She's very famous on TikTok as well, about 200, 300k of followers. And she only have probably like 100k on LinkedIn per se. She has products to sell. She sold on TikTok, right? Cannot sell anything because target audience is despite the massive numbers, because it's like an entertainment platform, people go there to learn and stuff like that. But on LinkedIn or on IG, when she just open up, only people buy. So doesn't really matter where you are, as long as your target audience is in the right group age, right? And you know that they have the capacity to buy from you, right? Then by all means, because TikTok generally are the younger generation,
Yeah. Right. So just now you mentioned that when you write on LinkedIn and you're a B2C kind of business, your style of writing should vary a little. So
Yes.
let's say I'm a dentist. How should I write on LinkedIn?
No, when you're a dentist or you're a healthcare professional, what you can do is showcase your daily activities. Meaning, you write about yourself. Yourself can come from different areas. Say, for example, I run the clinic. What are my struggles? Right? Every day, what's my pain point? Pay people salary? Is that my pain point? Not enough patients coming to my clinic. Sometimes I look at the wall. Is that a pain? These kind of things people don't want to write it out because it feels like it's shame because there's no people coming to the clinic. But it's the harshest of life, The truth, it is what it is, Because you technically, sometimes you go through these moments, your down times, people want to read what's going on. Or sometimes it gets so busy that you get overwhelmed. You stay to the clinic up late at night. Clinic extend after office hours. These are the things that you can write, you don't have to keep writing about, or you don't want to brush your teeth, then you get dental caries lah, or you want the tooth whitening and promo is 50% off, this kind of stuff lah. People don't want to read this kind of stuff lah. It's enough already. They see every on a daily basis. So people want the real raw stuff on LinkedIn. So even professionals, dentists, they can. But they have to shift from the mindset lah, from just promo services. They got to talk a little bit about their life lah.
And I think, let's say if the healthcare professional don't want to talk about struggle, they can also talk about stories of their patients, right? Like any interesting patient's case where they come in, I don't know, grandmother came in with some toothache or something. So that can be a LinkedIn post as well, right?
Can, but people don't respond well. I realize people don't respond to third-party stories. People like first-party stories.
So it has to be your own kind of story.
Yes, it has to be your own kind of story that you go through. There are some people who write third-party stories on LinkedIn, but unless your crowd is massive, that means that you have like big amount of following, right? Writing third-party stories generally do not get the right traction compared to writing stories about yourself.
Okay. So let's talk about measurement. How can business measure whether their content is doing well or needs improvement?
Okay. One of content marketing ways to do it is we call it a brand recall strategy lah. Meaning where people actually can remember your company's name and how many times your company has been mentioned by other people. Now, through content marketing, because at the end of the day, you're building trust, you're building your thought leadership in certain things, right? So there are two aspects of things in the sense that there is your personal brand there is also your company brand there. Now, of course, your personal brand will dictate people looking into your company as well, because people will be curious. I'm talking this from the experience of LinkedIn because I'm primarily on LinkedIn. So when you're there, people will start tagging you for advice. People will start tagging you for the things that they think is relevant to you. So when you count the number of tags, right, because there are statistics on LinkedIn that you can fall back to, how many times you've been tagged, then the view counts, then you can actually calculate from the statistics. And of course, on your company page, how many times your company has been tagged by other people. So how many times has been mentioned during the past 1 week. And you have a value and a figure that people actually keep tagging you again and again, then you know that your content marketing works, because even if you don't sell or you don't write a post or you don't post any content out there, people write content, they tag you. Indirectly, it benefits you because they direct traffic back to your own LinkedIn profile, and they also showcase that, hey, your company can do this. That's why they also can remember your company's name. So two things, no? One is your name. The other one is a company name. And if you can remember both, right, it's a very powerful evidence that, people actually know that you are out there already.
Okay. Great. So when you're faced with creative block on content ideas, because just now you mentioned that you write every day, right?
Yeah.
So how do you find back the inspiration or the ideas to continue to churn out content?
Okay. Block-wise, it doesn't really happen often for me because partly I kind of have a framework that I work with for the past few years already. So there are a couple of things that I talk about. One, of course, sometimes I share knowledge on marketing. That's one. Two, I will always go out and network with others. And when I network with others, I always take a photo. When I meet somebody for coffee, right, I will listen to your stories, then I post them back again. I talk about other people, I don't talk about myself, right? Number three, I talk about my team, because sometimes we go out makan together, we share stories together. So I will talk about my team effort as well. Number four, I do run community sessions, meaning that I will actually gather people together and have events together. So I have like assets from the events, like photography, videography, and all those kind of things, right? So I will use that as a base for me to write stories for that day. And fifth is my personal stories about how I go through my thought process, like journaling like that. Today, what did I do? I will write down my thought and put it out there. So every day, it goes in a circle. Once I'm done, I go back to the same routine again. So it becomes a pattern for me lah. So when it comes to content wise, it's like ongoing really. It never runs out. It's just whether I want to sit down and just vomit out that post and just park it out there only. That's all.
Like, do you have like a set schedule? Like, every day at 5 to 6 p.m. is my content writing time. No one can catch me during this period.
Or my content writing time is like throughout the day one. As long as I find there is a 1 hour gap there that I have nothingness to do, right, or nothing to do, right, I'll just sit down there and write lor. And just write and put it out there. I don't have specific timing in how I post my content lah. I realize everybody say must post a specific timing to get the best engagement, right? So I posted at 10, 12, 2, sometimes I post 8, 9 o'clock at night. The engagement all the same one. It's like people are there all 24/7, that kind of thing. So I am like, okay, heck it lah. Whatever other people say, like, you must post specific timing. I say all timing also work one. As long as people enjoy reading your content, they will engage. So no time lah. Anytime that I have time to sit down and write, I'll write and put it out there lah.
Okay, great. So we're coming to the end of the podcast. So before we end the podcast, what are your thoughts on building a personal brand versus building a corporate brand?
Now, corporate brand and personal brand, right? If again back to the point whereby we are looking at SMEs and smaller businesses lah, I would always encourage others to start building their personal brand first because it's very powerful. People like to know the person behind the company rather than the company. We can showcase the company logo lah, colors lah, font lah, and all this mantra that you have, but people don't connect with them well these days, and especially among the younger generation also, they like to see a person that they can relate to. So when you start focusing on your personal brand, people get to know you better, people start to be curious of what you have and want to work alongside with you, and it will carry on. It's like if you play Dota and stuff like that, it's like you're a strong character, right? You carry your members behind, right? That kind of stuff. So you will carry your company, and people will start knowing what brand are you without even you telling them what brand or company that you work for. That's how powerful personal brand is. And after that, once your personal brand is strong enough, you can slowly introduce to the crowd, and hey, this is my company, then you slowly incorporate storytelling from your company point of view, meaning that your company also have to sort out people's pain points. Cannot be just existing there. You have your story, but your company must have a story itself to say that what problem are they solving, and what is the conflict that is people having, what is the resolution that your company is providing, and in that company must have a character that like a hero like that that a person must be able to relatable, right? So it goes back to you because you're the hero of the company So there must be a face, but there must be a story to be told to the crowd as well, that how you're going to solve their problem.
Okay, great. So before we go, how can entrepreneurs join your community?
Or can go to my website. It's always there. You can go visit my LinkedIn profile as well. Before you join, at least get connected on LinkedIn and get to know because I'm very active on LinkedIn, and there is a community there by itself, always commenting on the posts and stuff like that. Get to know the people, and if you like the people and you enjoy interacting with them, then you can come join the community because we all xiao lang people despite being in the business sector.
Okay,
so
that's a good way to relax and because the business is quite stressful sometimes. So thanks, Eric, for coming onto the show. Check out Choobub Creatives down below, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for having me too, Benjamin.